everybody who's
She signed it.
Look at that, barely.
You
I
signed it.
know.
took over.
Everybody signed your receipt?
Flag or God or gun within the first 30 seconds.
Hey, you're retired?
Stop your noise.
You went somewhere else? You had different schools? You had my school?
I'm in the Broussard Youngsville area.
Okay, if we can get started, we have a forum. So, if you haven't signed the sign-in sheet, please do that. Couple of announcements. First, apparently there was some kind of misunderstanding about who was represented on the committee. So I sent an email to the board, and for those of you who don't know, there are 12 active members and 6 retired members. I don't know how that got confused, but somehow it did. There's food, since we're going to be here for a while listening to presentations from all the people out there. There are sandwiches and chips and things in the conference room for you. Just feel free to get up. We were supposedly scheduled just to hear from, as you all know, because we scheduled our meeting in June, we were supposed to hear from Mr. Fontaine for health insurance. But there was an agenda item placed on the board agenda to replace voluntary benefits administrator. And the board graciously allowed it to come back to committee. The board insurance committee met last week. Matt went, the 3 of us went, Butch went, and they already approved an agency, educational benefits. That doesn't mean we have to approve them. It's who they've approved. We had scheduled our meeting last June to be today. So there is one company we're going to hear from who did not know about the Thursday meeting. So the board committee did not hear from them, but we will hear from them tonight. So they have an opportunity.
I hate to interrupt. You said they approved what company?
Educational benefits. It's what the board insurance company voted to recommend to the board. The board insurance company is Mr. Hidalgo, Ms. Morris, and Mr. Angel.
That's
Was
a
that a
local
unanimous
company?
vote?
It was a unanimous vote.
And a local company? I've never heard of them. You just
Yes,
asked.
you have. You heard of them when we did the RFP last
What
time.
was-
They
what
did not
was-
have their licensure.
Oh, what was their name?
Louisiana.
Oh.
They were the Acuity.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
It's a different name, some of the same people.
I'm a
I also received an email from a board member suggesting that because retirees don't qualify for voluntary benefits, that the retirees abstain. I wrote back and said respectfully that we do best if we all work together. Last meeting, everybody, actors and retirees, voted on life insurance for retirees. So I wasn't going to ask anybody or suggest how anybody would vote. I didn't think that was my place. And I apologize again that this came up at the last minute, so we're going to be here a while, which is why we have sandwiches. I hope that helps.
Party outside, that's the party.
What we're going to do when we get to them, we're going to do our business as we intended first, and then we're going to take one company at a time, listen to them, ask whatever questions you want, and then we'll go on to the next one. We have 4 companies to hear from. Is that right?
Yes,
So, next order of business is approval of the agenda and the minutes. Is there a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Any objection? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. I have asked Mona, one of the things on the agenda is for Mona to explain in more detail why we ended up where we are with voluntary benefits. And I have told First Financial, who was our former vendor, whose contract the board terminated at their last meeting. They wanted to speak at the board insurance committee and weren't allowed, so I said we would hear from everybody so we hear both sides. So they will be speaking after Mona speaks. Okay, Mr. Fontaine, the floor is yours.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Glad to be here. I'll be taking you through health plan experience update through from January through August 18. So because of the date we set for the meeting and the fact that we've gotten the August data, I've gotten it updated all the way through August here. So if you turn to page 1, you can see that through the period here, 8-month period, our total claims are right under 33 million, 32,969,516. Plan reimbursements, which are a product of any type of reinsurance or also any type of prescription drug rebates into that or subrogation, that's totaling $2,448,000. A lot of that was reinsurance reimbursement from a claim that was incurred late in the 2017 year. Our retiree drug subsidies at $818,000 for a net claims paid number of $29,703,000. Our total fixed cost at this point is $2,347,000. Retiree premiums with Humana right under $600,000 at $592,000 for a total plan cost of $32,642,000 for $642,420. Our funding from active retiree contributions, also the board share for both active and retirees, totals $33,327,000. Our net employer cost at the $22,510,000. When we run a ratio of cost versus funding, we're at 97.9% with a $685,000 surplus. So if you're looking at the previous year in 17, and that ratio is at 92.2. Remember, 2017 was one of the best years you had on record for going back pretty far. So it looks more like the 2016 year from a claims perspective, but I will go over all of that with you and give that to you in detail. Plan costs, total plan costs right now is 5.6% above where we were last year. Much easier measured on the second page because we convert all of these figures to a per employee per month number because we're comparing 8 months to a full year. Now also remember, we're taking a snapshot from January through August. Summer's going to be your highest claims. I expect it to be up right now. When we met at the last meeting, we're approximately 2% above our previous year costs, 5.6 right now. That's encompassing those summer months. I expect claims to drop. Also, we've had some high-cost claims that are not continuing. Either that particular member is not covered under the plan anymore, or the course of treatment has come to completion. So if you look at the total claims number here, excuse me, medical claims number, our medical claims are up some 19%. But when you look back, okay, at the 477, looks a lot like 2016, okay? Yeah. We had a phenomenally low year in 2017 with very few high-cost claimants, a big drop there. The statistic I'll point out to you is claims over $10,000 year over year have increased about 30% in members, number of people, but about 45% on a claims paid basis. So we've had a tougher year from a high-cost claim standpoint than we had last year. Predominantly a lot of cancer and high-cost circulatory claims as well. Plan reimbursements, because we've had some claims go over that $500,000 specific reinsurance, and also if you remember from our increased rebates under our pharmacy contract, that's increased that number from 27 to 56. Retiree subsidies staying strong, so the net claims paid number, not reflective of a 19% increase in the medical, it's actually about 6% increase, and I expect it to come down as the fall months approach. Our funding, going from the 737 down to 733, that's a reflection of some folks changing plans, going from one plan to another, because you guys know there was really no action rate-wise 1/1/18 here. Good news on the prescription drug side, our numbers are actually down there by 2.1%. So when you see further in the reporting, we've had a significant increase in the high dollar specialty medications. As time goes on, when people run the course in the area of rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, plaque psoriasis, if you turn the TV on every night, okay, primetime TV, 3 of the 4 commercials you watch are for anti-inflammatories. Those anti-inflammatories treat those 3 classifications: Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, and moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. All 3 of those indications, all of these medications were not in existence some 5-7 years ago, okay? You take those medications out of your plan, your claims have plummeted on the prescription drug side. But every time somebody gets on one of those meds, okay, you're talking about costs of anywhere from $6,000–7,000 a month on up to maybe $10,000–12,000 a month, depending on the medication and the dosage. So
I have a question.
a lot of control in that.
Lynn,
Yes.
can you explain to me the budget loss ratio? Because I'm not understanding it.
Okay.
What does that
Basically,
equate to?
if we say we are funding at $733, that compared to the plan cost at $718. So if I divide $718 by $733, that's the 97.9.
So that's how
So
you
we're
come up with that?
basically funding our claims, and our plan cost is 97.9% of our funding.
Okay, then my question is, the numbers you have on page 1 is from January to August of 18. When I look at 2017, is that the same time period?
No, ma'am.
That's for the entire
Full
year?
year. That's why on the second page, we do it on a per employee per month basis to make it easier to compare. On page 3, this gives you a monthly breakdown. So you can see that we had that high cost month, of course, in January, and that was reflective of a very high cost claimant that was treated at the rear end of 17. Then we actually came down, but look at these last few summer months here, June, July, and August. 4 million, 4 million, 8, 3 million, 7, cost-wise. And I'll give you details on where that cost is coming from. Good news is that a lot of it is not repeating, and also we're going into the fall months here, so.
One here too,
Yeah, that's one.
2 of them.
That's 2.
And if y'all don't mind, would you sign in the sign-in sheet too?
I'll sign it.
So enrollment-wise on page 4, we are increasing in participation by 2% compared to the 17 year, 1.9%. Our participation's increased 10% since 2013. Employee only going up 2.3, employee with dependent only 1.4. That's where we want to be. Remember, we've been talking every meeting about, the all patch and all of this type of stuff, and as the industry had declined in the last couple of years, we watch municipalities very close. You've got a high benefit plan at a low cost, okay? So we want to make sure that we're not having our membership, remember membership's the number of belly buttons in the plans. Enrollment or participation is the number of employees and retirees in the plan. We want to make sure that our membership is not outpacing our growth in employees and retirees. And obviously, if you're looking at page 5, it's not, okay? Our membership is right on track with our growth in our employee retiree population, so not being hurt there. And all of that, basically, when we talk about the demographics, it's kind of summed up on on page 6 because many large municipality employers that have plans like yours and costs like yours, inviting all of this membership in, you look at these statistics and they're paying more on a spouse than they are on their own employee and retirees to the tune of 35–40% in many cases. You're running quite well, and that's just 6.3% lower currently, and on a 3-year average, about 2.6%. So spouses are not exactly our problem right now. Medical claims paid on a per employee per month basis, you see the 19% increase. That's on a gross basis. Remember, the overall claims only up 6% right now. Predominantly due to an increase in the number of high-cost claimants, which has resulted in a 48.5% increase in inpatient hospital utilization. Third bullet here I want to point you to, there are 188 members, or 1.9% of your total membership within claims in excess of $20,000, representing 11,321,000, or almost 54% of your total medical claims. We compare that to the year you had last year, same time period, okay? So you're talking about 188 versus 150, and 11,321,000 versus 7,006,000. So more people with more serious claims. Prescription drug-wise decreased 2.1%, and when we had a 25% increase in those high-cost meds, so it tells you how strong those contractual improvements were on the PBM side, or our pharmacy benefit manager side. Total claims up at 10.2%, net of reimbursements 6.1%. Okay. And from a participation standpoint, cost standpoint, enhanced plan option participation increased by 2.8%. Basic decreased slightly, and the Blue Saver increased by 14%. So when I told you on the first page, we know we didn't have a rate increase or a decrease come 1/1, but we've had some migration to the high deductible Blue Saver plan, less contribution. Okay. Total cost, that's 5.6%. When we look at it since 2013, 2.5%. And I can tell you that that's a good, solid, competitive number. Okay, when you talk about a plan this size with a benefit structure and a contribution structure like you have to hold that, you know, the trend is 6–7%, and during that time it was even higher in some years. So you've done quite well. When we look at page 12, and you see that 48.5% increase on the inpatient, when you look back though, look at 2016. You were at $156 per employee per month, but you dropped down to 103. You don't see 103 on any of these years going back to 2013. You had an extremely good year last year. What is this inpatient utilization all about? Circulatory, musculoskeletal, and neoplasm or cancer. That's predominantly what it is. It shows you that on the next page. So if we're talking about the entire year of 17 and then musculoskeletal, okay, we spent $1,288,000, and that was our top diagnostic category on an inpatient basis. We're talking about 8 months, and we're at $1,005,000 and $34 PEPM. That's on circulatory, musculoskeletal at $1,405,000, going up to the $32 from 16. So we've had a few more folks have some illnesses this year. Many of them, many of them are treated surgically and don't continue. So not only is that a high summer month figure, I do think it's going to be coming down when after reviewing a lot of the case notes on these individual claimants and whatnot. On an outpatient basis, neoplasm cancer being the top one, circulatory right under that. Factors influencing health is a big miscellaneous category, which I have defined for you, but you'll note that maintenance chemotherapy is also included in that diagnostic category.
You have exposure to TB as a factor influencing health at the bottom. We used to, in the system, require a TB test years ago. We usually still do.
Yes, some times for that.
I was going to say,
Yeah, it's
When it
just
was
part of
listed
the
first, I thought that
definition,
was-
but I don't see much in that area at all. On your top facilities, Lafayette, obviously getting more of that inpatient share on page 15. Lord's going up significantly from 44 to 77, so obviously some of that, those larger claims paid there, but about the same mix as far as market share from your different facilities. I can tell you on page 16, you guys might win the prize. 87% generic utilization for a plan that covers retirees.
it's just great.
Okay, and the majority of your retirees, we all know, are in this plan. Okay, so that's really, really good numbers. Now, when you turn the page, 87% of utilization amounts to 16% of the cost. If we flip the coin, okay, 13% of your utilization, 13% of your prescriptions are driving 84% of the cost. From a utilization point on 18, we're actually doing better taking less prescriptions on a per employee per month basis and on a per member per month basis. We've dropped from 3.1 to 2.7, 1.7 to 1.5.
Is that the norm? They have a decline in prescription utilization?
Not necessarily.
And then the correlation between generic and brand on 17, is that drugs that don't have generics mostly?
Sir?
Is that correlation between generic and brand name drugs on page 17, is that due to drugs that do not have a generic?
The increased use?
No,
the
diseases
process.
do not have a generic. The ones that-
The 16%.
No, it's just separated generic and
What
brands.
I'm saying-
Many of those brands could have a generic equivalent, but at 87% adherence, you probably, well, last time we mentioned you were less than 1% of the time that your membership was choosing brand when generic was available. Okay? Many other cases hover somewhere between 2 and 3%, and that can get expensive. You always want to keep that under 1%. You guys have done a good job of that. So, your people are very, very adherent to your plan. What hurts any plan in prescription drugs right now are going to be these high-cost specialty meds. If we look at page 19, these are your top 10 drugs by the number of prescriptions. So this is that 87% generic. That's probably most of these medications will fall in that category. And it's all of the things that you want your people to be taking, like blood pressure, cholesterol, all of those types of things to control those diseases. I'm also happy to tell you, you know, years ago, a lot of people talked about the hydrocodone use in the various plans. You can see if you go back to 2013, hydrocodone was number 2, and it's dropped ever since that time. Federal government's reclassified it. No longer can get a 90-day supply. But just this year, you've had another 6.3% drop, even when musculoskeletal has been a high category for you. On this next page, these 10 medications represent 1.9% of your prescriptions. So less than 2% of your scripts are driving basically 27% of your total prescription drug costs. Okay? So Humira, one of the drugs I talked about. Okay? Going down the list here, there's several of these medications where you probably won't recognize the name because they're cancer medications, the chemotherapy meds, okay? Quite expensive, but that's not uncommon, but it's not common to see 3 of them make this list, so I do believe that should be coming off. Page 21. Still very strong on the discount, 69.6%. Very, very strong. Blue Cross Network's doing a good job there. 98.4% network utilization. So not only are we getting very strong discounts, just very similar to the prescription drug adherence, people are staying in network. Now, when we talk about the cost of plans, and you talk about the fact that you're partially self-funded. You buy reinsurance to protect the plan in the event that you have a claimant that goes over $500,000, okay? So you're protected on that, and that coverage costs you about 1.3% of your total cost. Blue Cross is costing you about 5.3%. What I'm getting at is if you were fully insured, okay, you went direct to a carrier, you weren't self-funded, okay, I can assure you that the cost of running your plan would increase greatly, okay? This is a very small percentage from a percentage standpoint. You're basically have 6.6 cents on a dollar is the hard cost of doing business, and the rest of it all dedicated to claims. That's better than Medicare, that's better than Medicaid, and that's superior to most plans. What I'm saying here is your fixed cost in your plan very, very tight. This on page 24 compares the exact same snapshot, but this shows you really it's those claims from 20,000 on up. Not only did we increase in number, but of course we've increased in the total amount, and that was at 7.6 million compared to the 11,000,003, that top bullet there. But just look at the 50,000 to 200,000 category. Last year, okay, remember, last year was the best year you had on record for quite some time, but you only had 45 claimants over that $50,000 amount for a total of $3,854,000, jumping up to 67 for a total of $6 million. That's a $2,229,000 increase. Much of that is not ongoing. Much of that has to do with $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 musculoskeletal surgeries done in the summertime, which I do believe is going to come down, but we're going to monitor it very closely. Okay, if in fact it becomes a trend rather than a blip, we have to look at solutions. You know, we'll be presenting several of them to you. Okay, so it's just at this particular point, not anything to be gravely alarmed at, but we've got to keep a tight watch on it.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Fontaine? If you don't, he has requested that we set the next meeting date before he leaves, so he doesn't have to stay all night with the rest of us. The 2 dates are December 4th and December 11th for the next quarterly report. Does anyone have a preference?
It's a Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Both Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
The 11th is parent-teacher conference day.
So
we did it on
December 4th, okay for everybody?
December
Yeah.
4th would be
Is that
better.
okay for you, Lynn?
coming off of Thanksgiving. And
Okay, next meeting, December 4th, and
I do have a comment to make. I would like to thank Mr. Fontaine. This is one of the most thorough reports that we've had, and I think that's what the committee has asked. And it's been very informative. Thank you. I know that's a lot of work, but it keeps the committee informed, and we do appreciate that.
Thank you.
okay, next item on the agenda is Mona. Do you want everyone to leave, stay, or you don't?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Nancy asked that I give an explanation of why at this juncture we're considering changing our voluntary benefits administrator. I would say that all in all, over the course of the years we've been with First Financial, we've had generally a pretty good experience. We have had some glitches, but at the new teacher induction this year, we really got slammed in the evaluations because teachers felt that the representatives rushed them through the orientation of benefits and were insistent they make decisions and sign up for benefits they weren't prepared to sign up for because they wanted to go home and talk to a spouse. And whether or not that was intended, I don't think it was, but that is how it came across. And we do have some survey results if you would want to look at the survey results. I have copies in their comments. And that's really what kind of brought it to a head. And of course, they started calling their board members, and their board members got disturbed about it and thought maybe we should make a change sooner than later. So that's where we are. We don't feel like our employees were getting the customer service level that we wanted them to have. So that's why we're here to look at some other proposals.
So my understanding is there was a problem with the new hirees. And that was the first problem you had?
Not the first problem, no. But I talked a lot about that at the board meeting on September 5th. And I don't know if I want to go into all of it, but
A lot of them weren't there and don't know about it, so.
You know how I feel? Can I just finish this right now? I feel that whenever, it's like a hornet's nest. We're all called when the hornet nest is activated and the bees are really stinging people. Why can't we be called when we had that first problem with them? Maybe if, as a group, we could have sat down and discussed what the issues were. And maybe we could have put some calmness, some guidelines, so it wouldn't get to the point where we are now. But I feel like we're always putting a Band-Aid, and then we have to come and cover the wound. That's how I feel.
okay, you know that's not my choice.
Yeah, but that's how I feel.
Okay.
So to me, we should be more proactive than always just coming to.
And I agree with Carol,
Yeah.
because that's why we asked Mr. Fontaine to do the quarterly reports, so that we would know any problems arising, and I think he explained that very well today. And that was the whole point, so that we didn't operate in crisis mode all the time. I agree.
So maybe that's for all of those particular, maybe we need to have, maybe make a motion, I'll make a motion to that effect, that we have a quarterly report on all of the particular contractor companies that we have. And so as a result of that, I think we know ahead of time, or we know when the problem begins. So
Second
I'm
motion.
so moved for that.
Second.
So what Renell is asking is that instead of finding out at the 11th hour, I think the email I had said the problem started in 2016. Is that right, Mo? And
Yes.
we're finding out in September in the midst of open enrollment in 2018. So there's been 2 years that this committee has
So
met.
we've met at that time.
So hopefully that's a solution. If we can have the same quarterly reports for all the vendors or contracts that we have that affect our employees in relationship to insurance.
But include any problems, be it financial, because Mr. Fontaine's thing is mainly financial and how to about it. But any problems that you're having with customer service or anything like that, so that we will know ahead of time. And maybe address them.
Any discussion on that motion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? All right, so Ms. Muller.
One more question.
Okay.
When I was asking a while ago, was the company contacted and
Absolutely.
sat down with them, these are our problems we're
Yes.
having? And
We met in the summer to discuss how we wanted to do open enrollment this fall, and we didn't get the response that we hoped we'd get. So, yeah, we tried.
So Butch, we just voted, and Mona, from now on, every quarter when we get the health report quarterly, we're going to get a report from Mona on all the vendors, all the contracts we have in insurance, and if there are any problems, so we catch it every quarter and don't end it. And I don't know if anyone from First Financial is here. Mona, are you finished?
I'm done.
Is anyone from First Financial
Yes.
here? Because I promised that we would hear from everybody, so. First Financial is the current vendor of voluntary benefits.
Where would you like?
Wherever you want. They were terminated, the contract was terminated by the board at the last full board meeting.
Nancy, is this being recorded? Do we need her to go to the mic? Do we need her to go to the mic? Is it being
I don't
recorded?
know if we have mics yet. I don't know.
These mics are low.
Oh.
Do you want to?
Hi, good
If they go to
afternoon.
the podium, would it be okay? Would that be helpful?
You said you can't do that. So these microphones will pick up your,
Will this work?
sit there and
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Gail Adams. I am the state manager for First Financial in Louisiana, and I just want to take a couple of moments to address the complaints that were identified on September 5th and the comments Ms. Bernard has made tonight. At the September 5th meeting, which we were unaware of, the comment was made by Mr. Hidalgo. Not only is this company not following our requests and procedures for open enrollment and timeframes, but they just do what they want. They will get requests from the insurance department to enroll during certain time periods, and they don't follow these procedures. Well, June 20th, unfortunately, I wasn't in town because my mother had a stroke, so Tommy Negretti and Rebecca Hannegriff had attended the meeting, and I need those letters, please. That meeting was to discuss open enrollment, and I will share this with you. Mona did email me at 4:46 p.m. She said, here is the updated spreadsheet with current principals and secretaries. I have also updated the employee count. At Central Office, La Rosen, and Vermilion Conference Center, I have separated the number of itinerant staff based there from staff who have full-time offices. I have also included the number of bus drivers and bus attendants. It was a very productive meeting today. I want to confirm we do wish to move forward with, we do wish to move to the American Fidelity STD plan, Mona. So I'll share a copy of this letter. So I'm not sure how else to address that because I'm being told the meeting was very productive and this was regarding the open enrollment in which a schedule was attached as well. Any questions or comments?
Just don't wait.
I would like to say First Financial is very responsive to its customers. It is at the very heart of our core value proposition. We are not aware of any basis or foundation for Mr. Hidalgo's general claims, which we wholeheartedly dispute. In fact, we received the email which I just provided you. The next item to address, Mr. Hidalgo also said on September 5th, not only did they tell us they had somebody local, which is not true, they willed somebody in here who was a local guy that never came to fruition. We still don't have local presence. When we first started, we had James Odom, who's lived in Scott, Louisiana for many years. All of his children attended Lafayette High. At the same time, we also had Amanda Allen. Amanda lived in Arnoldville. They were both the leads here. We then brought on Matthew Carlini, who not only is a resident in Lafayette Parish, his wife is a teacher at Doosan, and his mother-in-law was a teacher for 30-something years at Ridge. Matthew also taught at STEM and was a track coach for Lafayette Parish School System. We have not gone one day without a local presence in Lafayette since we acquired this case. The next item I would like to address is on September 5th. It was also stated by Mr. Hidalgo. They told us they were going to get us the best price, the best bang for our buck. That is not true. I'm going to let the insurance folks give you those stats. So you all know, we go out to bid each year looking for more innovative products. We will not replace a product unless it mirrors the current benefit or increases it. Premiums do not ever exceed current premiums. We actually look for lower cost alternatives, again, that have equal benefits to current carrier. Loss ratios and claims histories have a major impact on these premiums. All right, our next item to address is, Mr. Hidalgo also mentioned that we are selling overlapping benefits to our employees. They got a short-term disability policy and a long-term disability policy, and those waiting periods overlap. So if someone happens to get disabled between that period, they are not going to collect on both policies. but they are paying for both policies. First of all, I think that statement's a little unclear. If you're out on disability, you can't file another claim for another disability that happens while you're out. You have to be actively at work. We do have a short-term and we have a long-term plan in place. You will get the full benefit on the 6 month on the short-term, and on the long-term benefit, you're going to get 10% or $100, whichever is greater, for the long-term disability for that 1 month. We could have, however, put a 210-day elimination. You would have had employees that have been disabled for 6 months, then waiting 2 weeks or up to a month with no supplement income. We feel like we put the best possible products in place and covered the employees. Any questions? And I'm going to pass this out also.
I do have a question about the office. If I remember correctly, when you spoke with us the first time, there was not a local office, but there was going to be one put in place.
Yes,
so you're telling me today that there is a local office?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to provide you that information.
Perfect. Thank you.
And this is an email addressing all the information of which I described on the short-term disability. Next item that I don't have, I just want to address this real quick so you have it. As soon as I learned about this from the press, I did reach out. I spoke to Mona and Trish on September 6th, and I asked what time the board meeting would be. I was told it was October 20th for the board insurance committee meeting. When I realized that was a Saturday, I did reach out to Mona. Right, I said I am ready to confirm the date of the insurance committee meeting. When we spoke on Thursday, you said it would be on October 20th, 2018. Since that is a Saturday, I am assuming it was an error, and the meeting would actually be on September 20th. Would you please provide me the correct date and time of the meeting? The response is, it is September 20th at 5:30 p.m. in the boardroom. I found out from Trish, who actually happened to email me later, that it was at 4 p.m., so we were able to attend that. I did also ask, please add First Financial to the agenda for the Employee Insurance Committee meeting on September 25th at 5:30. I am also confirming per our telephone conversation and email that we are on the agenda for the Board Insurance Committee meeting on September 20th. I was told you will be allowed to make public comments. You do not have to be on the agenda. And here is a copy of that email.
We have one fact that overlap here. So what we're saying is that if you had a short-term disability plan,
yes, sir,
and a long-term disability plan, and they overlap, one would be, the benefit of one would be reduced.
One would be reduced.
And what would be the time period that that benefit would be reduced?
Just that 2 weeks or 1 month of the 6 months.
Say that again?
On the short term, you would get the full benefit. On the long-term policy, you would get 10% or $100, whichever is greater. I will let you know as well, when you do have an overlap like that, it does drive down the cost of the premium.
So you would have an overlap of how much cost?
14 or 30 days.
14 to 30 days?
Mm-hmm. Depending on which elimination you selected on the short term.
Did you say that again? An overlap reduces cost? Is that what you just said?
When you do, because the carrier realizes that they'll have a reduction in benefits they're paying out, so it does lower the premium.
And just so everyone knows, the reason this is taking up your time is because we went to the the board insurance committee meeting, and they weren't allowed to make public comment because they could only speak on the agenda item that was being voted on. And that agenda item was to appoint another vendor. So it was not that they didn't go to the meeting, they did, they just weren't allowed to speak. So I said they could speak to us.
The next thing I'd like to address that was stated at the September 5th meeting, Ms. Bernard stated, well, that's just one of the issues that we've had with them most recently. We actually, HR, did a survey about the entire orientation process, and it overwhelmingly was negative about their experience with the benefits orientation. That kind of brought it to a head, if you will, but we've had, for the last 2 years, they are late in remitting premium payments to those companies that insure our people, so we're often getting notices that group policies are going to be terminated. They are not very nice to our people when they call the customer service line. We have had complaints about that. When it comes to scheduling open enrollment, we asked more than once to allow us to reach out to our schools and find out what dates are best for them to hold these meetings. And they refuse, saying that they have to man the schedule because it's so difficult to get all the people together. They never opened an office in this town like they promised. 2, I could go on and on about the disappointments. I'm going to let Sherry Pruitt, our president of First Financial Administration, address the premiums. We're going to pass out not only our original lease, the extension of our lease, and the pictures of our office. And I'm also going to pass out the reviews that we received. Out of the 210 surveys that were sent out, 68 people responded. 9 had some reflection of insurance. 4 were more directed at the scheduling of the HR orientation, new hire orientation, and 5 were at us. And I'm going to ask my account managers to speak up on what happened on that day. So Sherry, if you'd like to go first. Sure. To address the billing?
So what I did is I went ahead and pulled what I call the ins and outs for the year-to-date. And that would be the premiums that were actually remitted by the district to First Financial, and how quickly our processing team turns the money around to the carriers. And I have that data if you would like to see that. It also notes when the pay period was versus the date that we actually received the deposit. And on the average, the turnaround time is 4.5 business days. So I'm not real sure where Mona's comment comes from about us holding on to funds. In fact, First Financial, as a third-party, a licensed third-party administrator, we cannot hold funds. We put the money in the trust account. We do not earn interest on the premium, so it would behoove us not to keep the funds. In fact, our processors were actually evaluated on how quickly they process the funds. Now, we're not perfect. We had Harvey that hit Houston, and that caused us a delay. And then we also had an issue with the Dina Dental Plan. And the Dina Dental Plan, our issues were that our enrollment system was 1 penny off of the employee-only premium. And Dina actually threatened to drop coverage because we were shorting the invoice by a penny by each member. So First Financial paid the difference and brought the invoicing current. We did have issues with the Unum retiree billing, and because the issues were that we became the agent of record whenever First Financial came to the district. And for some strange reason, Unum started sending the invoices here to the parish office, and we weren't getting the invoice. And so the retiree billing was really strange in that we were getting an Excel spreadsheet from the business office, and that is what we were paying or reconciling to, was an Excel spreadsheet, not an invoice from Unum. And so just very recently, it was this past week, I believe, that it was approved for the invoices to come to First Financial Houston so that we could actually perform the reconciliation on it. But we do not hold funds. First Financial has been a TPA and administrator since 1979 as it relates to 125 business. In fact, we were the first company that offered consolidated billing. We understand the concept. We have an in-house brokerage, and we know the importance of remitting funds timely because participants' coverage lapse, and it's business that we write. So we want to make sure that our participants are taken care of. So I do have the statistics for the turnaround time if anybody would like to see that as well. And then the only other issue that really brought light as I was reviewing everything was it was an incident where really it was, is Cassandra here? I haven't.
No, she's not.
Okay. Well, she did take care of this for us by reaching out to Unum and having them to actually send the invoices, which I thought that was real. It was a big deal for us because it was really hard to get Unum to visit with us because we weren't the writing agent on the retiree business. So I want you to know that we tried very hard in order to get those carriers, the Unum carrier, to work with us. It's my understanding that Unum has 4 post office boxes where that billing goes to. And when Mass Group Marketing had the business, apparently it might have been the previous broker that was here. It was still in their name for the retirees, so that's why they were hesitant to give us the actual detail on the invoice. But anyway, Cassandra helped us out, and so I really want to thank her out loud for helping us to get the invoice to help us to do our job. And that's really all I have to say.
All right, and these are the 4 account managers that attended the new hire meeting. We have Tommy Nicoletti, Shane D'Amato, Cliff Cheatwood, and Matthew Carlini. And Cliff, if you would like to speak about what actually happened that day?
I would love to.
Thank you.
I'm the lucky one. Hey y'all, I'm Cliff. Some of you guys know me. I've mentioned the schools. I have been with First Financial for the last 10 years. Okay, we work all over the state. I've never had someone say that about us in the last 10 years. So, you know, the main thing is we've never pressured anybody, okay? That's what I want you guys to know, okay? Some of you have sat with us. The day that we did that meeting, we were given 22 minutes there was 210 people there. I had concerns. I came to help Tommy, and we really had concerns that we just couldn't get it done. It was almost an impossible task. It's not our normal way that we do business. I see some faces here I recognize. Normally we go in, we do a faculty meeting, and then the employees take it home, and then we go sit with the employees the next day or the next few days. That's normally how we do it. We were given a small classroom. There was about 40 people per session, and it was 22 minutes. We were splitting with Cornerstone. And so what we came up with is we didn't sell to anyone. All we came up with is that we're just going to have to be order takers. We're going to have to go give about a 10-minute presentation, and then we're going to explain the benefits, and then we had these white sheet, the census information. Our whole system runs off census information. Okay, when they come in every year, whether they buy anything or not, they're in our system. They say I don't want anything. We click a button. The school board knows they've been seen. So we collected those from everyone. We spoke for 10 minutes, and then we walked around. It was in the classroom. We walked around. They raised their hand if they had questions. We went up and said, "Hey," they said, "I have a question on this." You know, a lot of people there, if you ask those 200 people, said thank you when they left. Okay, I was there personally. I was with these guys, and they said thanks. A lot of people were coming from other parishes. They walked in. They said, "Hey, I want short-term disability. I want dental, me and my kids, and I'm done." A lot of people didn't want to do the benefits. So there's 3 different types of people. You have the people that know what they want. You have the brand new baby teachers that are still under their parents' health insurance that we always tell, go ask your parents, right? Because they have no idea. And then you have people that want to go speak to their spouse, okay? I thought everything was going pretty well. Again, it was extremely rushed. If you read the reviews, most people said we felt way too rushed. I felt that they were way too rushed. Somebody can't make a decision in 22 minutes on benefits, but we did the best with the situation that we had, okay? We did have one lady that was upset, okay? I believe she talked to Matthew. She said that she felt rushed and she needed to speak to her partner about the benefits, and we said, "Ma'am, we're not." She said she felt bullied. And then Tommy, I think, stepped in and said, "Ma'am, we're not, that's not our intent." Our biggest issue, y'all, was I believe this meeting was on September 30th, and these people were starting school, July 30th, sorry. They were starting school on the 7th, I believe, is when they started, okay? Once they get into school, they're not calling us for benefits, okay? They're overwhelmed. You guys know how busy they are, okay? So our biggest problem was how are we going to get 200 people's benefits taken care of in the next week, okay? Gail has expressed concern about these people emailing their socials into us, okay? Because it's not a secure network.
We're being emailed these white sheets with all dependent socials, employee socials, and it's not coming through a secure network. I'm not comfortable with that.
So that's why we did these sheets, and we really, I just want you guys to know that, and some of you that have sat with me, you guys know this. I've never, ever in 10 years has anybody said that we were pressure selling them. y'all look at our resume, look at the school boards we work with, ask the superintendents, ask the school board members that we work with. That's not true, and that's all I want you to know. If you want to switch, if you want to switch, that's fine, switch, but not because of that. Because you can ask any one of your employees that I've ever sat with at random, and they'll tell you the same thing. We care about your people. We've never done anything immoral, illegal, or pressure sell to anybody. Do you know why? Because we go to the same school the next year. I know some schools in other parishes, I've been in for 10 years. I go to the same schools. I walk in, they know my family, I know theirs. And here, we just don't have that lengthy relationship. We were only here a few years, okay? And unfortunately, I wasn't able to work with you guys last year because I had some medical stuff with my son I had to deal with. So I wish I had more references for you. But, I've spent the last couple of weeks driving to see our superintendents, school board members, and other parishes. And, this is my first taste of politics. We haven't had to deal with this anywhere else. The reason you hired us the first time is because we are the best, okay? That's why you look at our resume, okay? I talked to a superintendent this week and he said, we wanted to go local. This is another big parish. We wanted to go local. We tried it years ago. The problem is you don't have anybody local that can do what we do, okay? If you use a company from Arkansas that has a couple of guys, it's no different. I'm a Louisiana guy, okay? These are Louisiana guys. I want you to have an open heart and an open mind. My main concern is I think that the board should hear this stuff because as an elected official, they need to make a decision not off of one person's comment, but off of the other side. There's two sides to every story, and any teacher will tell you that, right? So we just want the public to hear that because it doesn't matter about me or these companies or the board or you guys. What matters is the employees here, okay? The 4,000 people that work here. So does anybody have any questions about that day? Anything for us at all?
I don't have a question about that day, but how many school systems do you represent in Louisiana?
In Louisiana, 17, where we do all services.
Yes. And
we don't just have a product there.
All the big school boards, a lot of your neighbors.
What neighboring parishes?
Calcasieu, St. Tammany, Livingston. Oh, I'm sorry.
We do Calcasieu, Vermilion, Acadia, St. Tammany, Livingston, Natchitoches, Sabine, Ouachita, Avoyelles, Point Capee, and I know I'm leaving something out, so somebody jump in. Rapides.
Ouachita. And what I wanted to say, y'all, is we've worked with these parishes for over, some of them 10 to 20 years and plus. They don't keep you if you act like what is being said about us. And so I think it's unfortunate for the actual employees that work here because they're not here. Y'all are representing them really, and what we need to do is we need to have a voice at the board meeting so that, I talked to some other board members in other parishes and they said it's their duty. It is their duty to hear this side and then make a decision instead of making a decision off a 5-minute comment. I think we could all agree on that.
Yes.
That's all right. And, yes, ma'am.
It's been stated that we've had problems since 2016. Have there been any attempts to meet with you and discuss the problems and mediate and correct?
We did have an employee in 2016 that Ms. Bernard called me on, and Ms. Bernard can tell you what happened to that employee. He was removed. I have a zero tolerance for I don't care if you have a bad day, you're going to go and be nice to individuals. You get one strike, you're out.
Okay. But any other problems that they're discussing? Apparently they're saying it's been a long list of problems.
I mean, I can go back through I've been through my emails, Mona, and there's no communication on this.
Are y'all finished? Because
I'm done, y'all. If y'all have any questions, thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. The next statement that was made at the board meeting was by Ms. Bernard. The retirees port them to individual policies, so they are not serviced by this company. They work only with actives, and the individual policies is vision and dental that they can take with them, and life insurance. So they remit those premiums through their checking accounts. The answer to that is we continue to answer retiree claim questions and assist them with filing claims. Additionally, we have dental and vision set up so that the retirees can take the same benefit and the same premium as actives. We offer Texas Life and Combined Life that carry the same benefit. They can take that with them with no increase in premium. We also did the same with our Allstate Group Cancer and Critical Illness. That allows retirees to take that benefit with them at the same premium and the same benefit. And I will tell you, even this week I learned, we actually have an agent. I won't identify anybody that we have an agent agreement with that is actually in this room right now. And I know they were called by our account to talk to someone about a deceased retiree's Aflac policy this week. Just because you retire doesn't mean we stop assisting. Okay. All right. There was a question from Don Morris to Ramona Bernard stating, so they have no dealings with this company. And Ms. Bernard said correct. Again, that's false. We deal with everyone, retirees, actives, constantly. Let's see. Ms. Bernard stated about the letter on August 1st. The reason I didn't share it was about that time I had no idea that this was going to come up to make a move at this point, and I really didn't expect it. My answer to that is, again, I received the email pertaining to the survey sent to the 210 employees. You have that exhibit. Again, there are 9 pertaining to insurance, 4 addressed not enough time, which is actually a reflection of the scheduling on the LPSS part. 5 were negative against First Financial, but please remember there was also another carrier in there, Cornerstone. How do we know that someone didn't say that's First Financial when it was actually Cornerstone? We don't know. I have no way to identify what session these complaints happened in or who they were, and I was never given the opportunity to reach out to these individuals. The next comment that was made at the board meeting was by Mr. Hidalgo. He said the benefits can't change now. And then the phone rang and he said if y'all need to catch that, that's all right. The benefits can't change now. It's too late for that. But the relationships and the way we treat employees can change, and that's what I hope we can change this year before open enrollment starts. And Dawson, I'm going to let you reflect on that about the benefits real quick, if you would, about becoming agent of record.
Well, yes, and I heard it the other day in the insurance board meeting too, that a lot of the vendors said that they could just become agent of record on the current products that you have here. Actually, that's a false statement. We have exclusive arrangements with some of these companies, and they would not be able to get an agent of record with that. Now, what they'll do is they'll go find you something most likely comparable or whatever, but if you like a couple of the specific companies that are here, they would not be able to get an agent of record on those companies. There's at least 2 that are here that you will have to leave.
Can you tell us what they are?
Yeah.
Texas Life, the permanent life insurance product that you have here, and American Fidelity product.
The next statement that was made, again, was by Mr. Hidalgo. He said, can we expedite this so that open enrollment is with a new, fresh, respectful face this year? That's my concern. And Ms. Bernard responded, I think what you are asking is if we could give broker of record letter to someone else, and it's the administration piece that we have to give them 90 days for. That means the COBRA notices and the things, the activity that they do to manage the account, for that contract, they have to have 90 days. And Sherry, if you would address that, well, we'll both address it. As agent of record, First Financial receives commissions. Those commissions are paid to First Financial Capital. Those commissions are then paid, the monies are paid to First Financial Administration for the services. That's how we're able to provide you the services at no charge. So if we are no longer the broker of record, if we could have a show of hands who's going to work for free for the next 90 days, I don't see, it's not going to, we can't do that. We cannot provide the services if we're not being compensated for it. So there's a difference here. There's broker of record and there's a third-party administrator. You're talking about 2 different things.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Would you like to add anything to that?
Anyone have any questions?
I'd like to add one thing. Just a concern, really, and I heard in the first board meeting, Ms. Bernard addressed it. One of the board members asked, hey, are we going to be able to make this change by January 1st? I have concerns that a new company would even be able to come in and do this and not have problems. We're supposed to be enrolling here now. We were already, I think we were scheduled here last week.
September 17th.
So my biggest concern is, so you say you can do it, but there's a lot of preparation that you have to get ahead of time, okay, to have an online enrollment. Like Dawson said, there's some carriers that you're not going to be able to use. So there's a lot of moving parts here. Yes, maybe somebody could do it by January 1st, but you know, I'm concerned that you don't have enough time. And you know who's going to be affected? Nobody, I mean, you guys will, but the employees will be affected. So they're the ones that need this stuff. They're the ones that almost every school I go to, somebody's been helped out by a product that we do. And I've learned that over the last 10 years. And there's always somebody out.
Yeah, and I want to go ahead because your time is valuable. And again, there's a lot of things that we could talk to you guys about. I just want to thank you for allowing us to come up here and actually address some of the complaints again, or some of the things that were lodged against the company that I run. And again, we're still addressing how we're going to handle that even in more detail, because again, it can affect us in this community and in the surrounding communities, and it's important that if there is misrepresentation, it's going to have to be corrected. But you guys have decisions to make. The board has decisions to make. And obviously you can tell that we're passionate as a company and as employees of this company that we feel like that we've done a good job for you. We wanted to make sure that we got that information out, but it's up to you now. You know, there's nothing more. You guys have gotten the information of where we're at. Just want to make sure that you know that we cared about you, that we would continue to care about you now or into the future, and we appreciate the opportunity to address it. And so finish it up on your
Yes, one last very important thing, and somebody has it. Ms. Menard stated last, it's the paperwork. I'll have to get it for you. Yep. So, well, I would say this. At that time, what I don't think the committee knew was that First Financial was actually owned by an insurance company. And that is not the sort of vehicle we wanted to bring, because that tends to bring conflict of interest in the party. So I'd say there was some information that was not divulged, that if they had known, they might have made a different choice. Well, and I did address this at the board meeting in 2015 when Mr. Starling held up an organizational flow chart that showed that we were owned by American Fidelity. We are in fact not owned by American Fidelity. We are owned by North American Insurance Company. And Dawson, if you'd like to say a few more comments on that, we will wrap it up.
Yeah, again, that's a common mistake. As you heard me say earlier, we have an exclusive writing contract with American Fidelity. We do that because we actually work in 8 other states throughout the South here, and because of the volume of premium that we work with American Fidelity. But if you look at First Financial just in general, on the number of companies that we actually work with, we probably have appointments with over 100 different insurance companies. We probably write business, a lot of business, with about 15 to 20 of them. American Fidelity falls somewhere around 5th or 6th in that amount of premium that we send them. The fact is, we are not owned by any insurance company. We're owned by North American Assurance Company, not an insurance company. They're a major broker. And so if you think that we have any reason to use any insurance product, you're wrong, and we can replace anything that's not viable here, if that's what you want to do. So that's a wrong statement. I want to make
Two
sure
requests. First, I don't know how you can do it, but concisely, can you get the information you just gave to us to the members of the school board? In some written form, if you're not able to speak to them, can you possibly get it to the members of the school board?
Yes, ma'am.
They're the ones who have the final vote. So
we did have some letters returned. We have bad PO boxes that were listed on the website. I do have Mr. Cintiani's.
But yes, every comment that we listed here, every misrepresented comment, we have responses to this, and we can provide that to the school board.
Thank you. And my second comment, you mentioned earlier there's somebody in this room about a deceased person. They didn't. Who is that?
It's Skip Kovac. He worked with the Walls Parish this week. I believe Judy reached out to you about a deceased retiree in their AFLAC policy. Yes.
AFLAC is what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the company with another parish? In what parish?
Of Orange Parish?
Thanks very much.
In
Thank
light-
you
in
folks
light of
very
two
much.
sides-
Thank you.
In light of two sides to every story, this is going to come up.
Yes.
So I want to give you a chance to respond. We have pictures of an office, an address, and a door. Is there anything in the office?
Would you like, if I
Anybody
can grab
ever
my
in
cell
the
phone, I can
office?
give you pictures because,
Was
yes,
anybody
people
ever-
are constantly in there. And you know, I will say this, in speaking with Mona and Trish when we were on the phone on September 6th, they're like, oh, come on, Gil, you know, there was an overlap. And I just decided to bite my tongue because they all know Amanda Allen worked here. Not only did Amanda work here, we have a policy with First Financial that you have to get your Series 6 within 2 years. And if you don't, you're demoted or terminated.
And that was
So
an exception.
Amanda was working full-time out of the office.
Out of this office?
Out of that office. He was in there constantly. In fact, when the article came out in the paper on Sunday, he had an hysterical pregnant wife calling him crying while I took my staff that day, staff day, to the Saints game because she thought her husband had been lying where he had been going when he was going to the office.
Is the address of the employees? or the-
It's on Amanda Allen's business card, it was on James Odom's business card, it's on Matthew Perlini's business card. We've always had that office at River Ranch.
Did any employees ever visit there?
No, we've never had any employee asked to come to the office. We have not had one.
Mona has a.
I do have to say this, we were never given an address. I don't care what you say, we weren't. And I'd like to know why the people in this room that we talked to in the summer, when we said they had an office in River Ranch, they denied it and said they had no idea where it was.
Who were those
and
people?
laughed. Matthew was there, who else, Trish? Tommy? Laughed and said, we didn't know we had an office in River Ranch. And we said, well, somebody's paying some valuable real estate. I'm telling you, that is what they said, and we told you that.
We need to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to say that.
Thanks for
I just wanted that to be the other side because I know it's going to come up, so I wanted y'all to be here and be able to.
You're more than welcome, we can show you the office tomorrow. Matthew will be in town, he can bring you over there.
Was that a question?
Sure.
So employees who feel rushed, would it be open for them to go to the office?
Absolutely. Typically what we do in most of our accounts with
Like
new hires.
time
Mhm.
after 4?
After
Some of our
4,
schools don't
we
have that.
accommodate, even for makeup days, we work on Saturdays for LPSS, and we work at nights to do cleanup days for just the open enrollment. But for a new hire enrollment, you really want to spend a little additional time with them. We typically go out and do a faculty meeting to them, and then schedule times to meet with them after the enrollment, prior to school starting, and to keep them in that 30-day window. And we sit down with them one-on-one. There's a lot of personal information discussed at that time that you don't want to discuss in an open forum. I mean, something as simple as weight can be very intimidating for someone to say with somebody sitting
So
next
what
to
you're
them.
saying is that office would be available to new hires?
Absolutely.
And then maybe seeking a little bit more time?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And one comment on the new hire day, one strategy we used was, of course, we told everyone you have a 30-day window during your new hire hiring session to pick up any benefits you like. And so there's 30 or 40 of those sheets of paper we're talking about where we told them, write down, please call. Go home, review the booklet with your spouse. We have please call on your sheet of paper and we'll call you within the next week to start the conversation. And everybody has 30 days. And so we have 30, 40 sheets from that day of please call. We reached out to them and they've signed up for benefits since then. And as for the address, it's been on James Odom's business card since 2016. It was on Amanda Allen's business card. So those should be in the office.
Actually, since
And they've
August
been there for
2015.
And ma'am, one more, I'll let y'all go home, but one more thing on the new.
Oh, no, we got all done.
I'll
wrap it up, I would be most grateful.
I'll wrap it up. Normally with new hires, what we do, I call it North Korean hours because I work at 9 o'clock at night. We normally, since they're in school till 4 or 5 o'clock, we normally take care of them over the phone. And so with our electronic system, we're able to just talk to them on the phone and they don't have to actually physically sign. So that's normally how we take care of new hires.
But the question was, would the office be available if they wanted to?
Sure.
Yes. It
Sure.
wasn't how
We
to
could
do
meet-
business.
Yes, ma'am. We can surely meet them in person, but we do handle the cars a lot over the phone. Thank y'all.
Thank you so very much.
If all of y'all
Good night.
would excuse us, we will get back to what we're doing.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
How much time does everybody want to have?
Everyone's
From
going to
here
have 20 minutes, and we're going to do it alphabetically. But I'm first going to see if anyone has comments about what we just heard before we start the next part of the agenda. Is everybody who's presenting, please leave. I don't mean to be rude, but that's what some of you requested, so that's what we're doing.
I know.
So what happened after that?
Afterwards, they voted to terminate our
They're the
contract.
ones who requested.
They voted to terminate. How did all these find out?
Then, Mr. Hidalgo and I said,
It's the same company back. Did you notice that in the paperwork?
We're not eating.
It's not Jeremy's. It belongs to
Is that some margarita?
Well, I think everybody
It's
needs
talking to you.
And the same.
Let's take a 5-minute break. Everybody go get a sandwich, bottle of water.
Margarita cheese? You already missed happy hour.
We just need to say this. I just think they should
I didn't know this was in. I didn't know all this was in.
And honestly, a lot of this stuff.
They have.
Okay. Make sure everybody.
I can email you or.
is the letter some of you asked for. It outlines the problems that they've had with First Financial. Okay, next item on the agenda is a discussion of the RFP process. Was asked to put that on the agenda.
And I'm just gonna say, I guess I'm a little perplexed for a public body representing employees' money as well as taxpayer money, that this magnitude of the contract was not put out on RFP. I don't know how the 4 or 5 companies that are presenting were notified and others were not.
Yeah.
Usually with an RFP, it's an equal playing field.
Yeah.
And it's the same specifications, they have to answer the same questions, and then committee reviews it, the board reviews it. I'm a little concerned that this magnitude, because from what I understand, the commissions are quite large. It's profitable for these companies. And we are, the school board is a public body. I don't know of any public body that wouldn't put this type of contract on an RFP. We have until January 1st. Personally, I would like to see it. I don't know which company is best. I sat through the board committee meeting, insurance meetings. They were given 6 minutes to present. It's kind of hard to decide on this magnitude of a company, or the magnitude that this company will have on our active employees. And I couldn't determine which was best. I think an RFP would certainly equal the playing field for anybody that wants to present. Because quite frankly, I don't have a preference. I don't know the companies. I don't know First Financial. But I just want to see it transparent. I want to see it, and I hate to use that word because I know it's overused, but I want to see an equal playing field so that everybody is notified that would be interested in doing business with Lafayette Parish. They would fill out the same form and they would be scored with a score sheet. I think that's the only fair way to do it. That's my personal opinion. You don't have to agree, but I've seen it done. Burnell and I have sat through many, many meetings, and I've never known more than we probably ever wanted to, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. But I've never seen us not put something like this.
Well, we need to have, like you said, information and it's accountability. You're going to do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I need that.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm expecting
determine
to,
which
yeah.
is the best company without having all of that.
Exactly, yes.
So that motion thing is my question.
Well, I can make a motion that I would like for
Can I
this
make a
to.
comment before you make
Sure,
that?
absolutely.
So tagging on to that, the first time we were looking for someone to help us with this, did we not do it on RFP?
Yes.
And then we did, yes. So I don't understand why the system has changed now.
And that's my concern.
Can you address that, Mona?
Okay, originally, we didn't do an RFP because we didn't have time. And so we were, I think, initially going to just review the proposals from the other companies we watched last
I mean,
time.
like when we hired them.
Yes.
When we hired First Financial Group.
We did an RFP
Okay, so why has that changed now?
because I was instructed to do this immediately.
Okay. So is there somebody else that we can ask why that system has changed?
You didn't change the process. That I understand.
No, we just, I think, certain members of the board wanted to move the meeting because of that meeting.
So they based the recommendation, the decision was made, what was presented here, or and that's
Based on the presentations they saw.
the other night? Yeah.
The Thursday night,
Yeah.
which was given before some people who are on this committee are able to get out of school and make it here.
Yes.
Correct.
Exactly.
And does that seem at all like the process that we underwent last go round or the time before that? Okay.
I don't know the school board that would handle this, I'm going to be fine. And there may be, I'm just.
And we can't wait till January.
Can we?
The benefits are effective January 1.
Can we issue RFPs now and make the deadline say November?
Yes.
So we can decide.
Yes. I think we're rushing, y'all. I don't like
But
that.
you will be rushing. You'll be rushing
We
the
shouldn't, we
employees to enroll.
But we shouldn't. This affects people's lives. And you want us to sit here, listen, make a decision? That's rushed.
I just want to make sure it's done fairly
Yeah, we shouldn't
and
have to do
openly. And I think that's the only way you can do it is with an RFP. There may be a company locally, because I know that was the big push was local. There may be somebody locally that would like to bid on this that is licensed and certified and didn't even know that this was coming up. I mean, that's the whole purpose of an RFP. And you know what? The same company that the board committee, insurance committee is recommending may indeed get it. And that's fine, as long as it's the best company for employees. And that's what this is supposed to be, for the employee. I'm very passionate about this. I just think that's the only way to go. What's the minimum amount of time you can put on an RFP? That's just my thoughts.
It takes a while to write it and get it reviewed by an attorney and then put it out and then you give them a reasonable amount of time, maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. 10 weeks is
We're finding ourselves in the same predicament. We're in crisis mode, and we have to do it now. And that's the one thing I think, and a lot of people were on the committee, and there are a lot of new people. But I think the one thing we all agreed on is let's not put us in a crisis situation.
Again.
Let's give us time. Yeah, and here we are at the last minute saying we have to do it this way. I'm not sure.
If we're going to change, it has to be done this way. If we're not going to change, then the board would have to rescind their vote and not fire First Financial. So I don't see how that relationship can work.
So your opinion is there's no time to do an RFP?
It's already tight. Even if they decide on October 3rd in order to enroll everybody and get everybody out before Christmas, seems like it's going to be tight.
Hey, Mona, would I be out of line if I made a comment?
No, not at all.
My name is Blaze Freeman. I definitely understand the concerns here. It's tough, but I would just like to make a suggestion. I think there's 2 companies that are on the agenda that were here for the previous meeting last week. Would it be too much to ask, hear us out, let us go through these presentations, and then whatever you'd like to do from there, whether you try to go RFP. But I just want to make sure the people that have been here all along trying to come in would get that chance.
How long would it take you to respond to an RFP?
It's going to take a while. That's like First Financial said. Your enrollment period started, so it's crunch time. Whoever can pull this off, especially from a technology standpoint, needs to get started. Yesterday.
See, and I think that's probably part of the concern.
Yes.
Is that our employees are going to be the ones that suffer because there's been this condensed time frame. Because as you're saying, it's crunch time for you. What does that do to our employees?
I think it can definitely still be done, and I think you've got 2 solid candidates.
Yeah, but we could have some solid candidates who are not here and did not know we were doing that. You have to look at the other side of the coin.
Have you ever responded to an RFP for a TPO?
I have not responded to this.
No, anyway.
Oh, absolutely. It's a process. It's a process to get your RFP together, and then it's a process you got to get some time to respond for each.
Well, there's some very good ones online. So, I mean, your attorney would have to do it, but there are some.
We could dust off the other.
I mean,
I didn't think about that. We could reuse the same.
You could, yeah.
So we have an RFP we could use?
We could use the one.
One we did last time.
And that's fine. At least it would go out. Anybody that wanted to bid could do it.
This is
We would have all the, everything equal to compare. Right now, we're not comparing apples to apples.
Well, not only that, but I found that it was very rushed. In other words, there were presentations that they had on PowerPoint that they were not given the opportunity. Okay, and the last time we had an RFP for this, it took hours.
It took hours.
It took hours.
Hours.
That's right.
Hours.
And once we got that, we did the homework.
Yes.
We took the information that was given, and we found this is number 1, number 2, and number 3, and we had justification for it. Right. So, but it was transparent. Very transparent.
And that's what we need.
This right here, I don't see it as being transparent.
No.
Okay, it was rushed.
With all due respect, we're supposed to operate our Robert's rules, so there should be no discussion until there's first a motion on the floor. So if you're going to make a motion.
I'm going to make a motion that the committee recommend to the Black Parish School Board that RFP, the process of selecting a third-party administrator and broker, right, to be vetted through an RFP
For
process.
this process or a future process? You're talking about
This
this
one.
one.
For this and all future.
And all future.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second that.
Any discussion?
Call for the question.
Matt?
I guess,
Oh, who seconded it?
from a processing
Lizette.
standpoint, because I'm in payroll, I'm getting trepidations on pushing this even, I mean, from where, Mona, correct me on where we are now, First Financial's been fired, right? First
Yep.
Financial's. So we have no voluntary benefits company at current.
That's what I'm hearing tonight
I'm
from
really
them.
want to make sure that the employees have at least some good voluntary choices by
Bring it
November
back to the
1st,
board.
including myself. I have some
Bring
benefits.
it back to the board.
Our concern is if we try to get an RFP, Mona, does the board have to approve the RFP before it goes out?
I don't know. You think so?
The board approves the RFP?
Usually.
That's what it says, yes.
And we only have monthly meetings unless they call special board meetings. So
Correct.
that would put us, if we get an RFP to them on the 3rd and the deadline for posting is Friday, you're not looking for an approval until November 7th. I just don't know
Well, I
if
would
it's
hope that
possible.
this was important enough to the board that they could call a special
A
meeting.
special meeting.
I mean, I can't see the board refusing. I hope. I can't
Look,
speak
when
for
they-
them,
when
but
they
I've
fired
never known
them,
the
they
board
should've had a plan.
not
Should've had a
to
plan.
try
They should've
to
had a plan.
act in the best interest of the community.
But it can't be rushed, Mona.
Matt, let me ask you a question since you are in payroll. If Mona has the RFP, she's using the RFP that was used previously. So that was already approved by the board? Mona?
Presumably, yeah. I'd
Yeah.
have to go back and look.
So
Yeah.
if it's already been approved by the board, it's a matter of issuing the RFPs and having a response.
The board would have to vote to do that October 3rd.
Right.
And the next meeting wouldn't be until October 7th unless they call me. I'm just
November
concerned
1st.
about the timing. I'm really tight. And I don't want to end up with the worst situation is no choice, or not to have any benefits by January 1st, and your DINA's expired, and you go to the dentist January 1st.
What I'm
and you
hearing
don't have
is that
one.
the board's.
One at a
That
time,
choice
please.
might be to reverse the action that they
Yes,
took
until
and
we
give
can
more
do
time
that.
for the vetting
Yes.
process.
That could,
Yeah.
that's
Logical
the,
thing to do.
yeah. Will you fire them, ask them to just hold on a minute?
I just need to express that concern because we're going to be getting the phone calls and
I
angry people.
understand that.
Mona?
I think the work that, if you're going to move this fall, the work that needs to be done is behind the scenes. That's the work, as Blaze was alluding to, where you have your technology people working with our technology people on the exchange of data and all the stuff that has to happen. And so that in order to get started, they have to know they have a contract, whoever the company is. So the longer you delay, that's what's in jeopardy. Not the time spent to enroll, but actually to kick it off.
So if you issued an RFP, this is Tuesday, if you issued an RFP that you already have, the board already approved, if you issued that Thursday, and they had 2 weeks to respond, that would put us to mid-October, second week in October?
But I don't know if Mona would release RFP unless the board would give her authority to do that.
She said,
Would
I
you
asked
have
if
to
if
get board
the
approval to
RFP had already been approved.
It had been approved, but it had already been issued. I don't think we normally
If
just
I remember correctly,
issue
during that
RFPs
board
without
insurance
board.
committee meeting, almost every presenter said that they had the technology platform to just roll it over. Am I correct?
I think you're right,
Am I
yeah.
correct?
They
They
always
have
say.
the platform, but it
They always
takes,
say
it's
that.
not that.
Because I
They
think
gotta get the data.
when we were doing the last RFP, some of them did not have the platform that you needed, ASO or one, it's something, the platform that we use, yeah, that's it. They didn't have the platform, so we just nixed that when that came about. So if there's a platform there, then it should meld, I mean, it should come together.
The devil's are in the details in that.
And I understand that.
So open
A lot
enrollment
of-
ends when?
A lot of salesmen would tell you they can do some
Normally
stuff.
November.
And when you get with the techies, get to the techies,
Oh, yeah, we'll have to.
Because
That's
you see,
another discussion.
because we have payroll to worry about, and that's got to mesh.
The first financial on September 5th, the board voted to.
September 5th?
So Mona's telling me she's going to extend open enrollment
I have to do it in.
till Christmas break. So that being the case, is there then time to do an RFP from your position, Matt?
I don't think so. I'm just not comfortable with that. It's just, there's a lot of moving pieces, and when you try to do this quickly, you're going to have some stuff crash, especially if you start doing it
otherwise. Yeah, because I think that's what the board did when doing this so quickly.
It's exactly.
I'm going to be quite honest, and I understand they may have been emotional during the discussion. My concern is, as I said, I want an equal playing field, and I want everything to be apples to apples, oranges to oranges. I could not determine in 6-minute presentations, and I sat through them the other night. I couldn't pick a firm because I didn't have enough information. There are questions to be asked. I would like to go ahead and call for the motion so that it's a recommendation from the insurance committee. The board, I know, doesn't have to accept it, but I would like for them.
So there has to be a vote on the call of the question, and there's no more discussion. So, all those in favor in calling the question, meaning there's no more discussion, and we will then vote on the motion. All those in favor of calling for the question, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
2, Matt, and 3. Nay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 3. So now we vote on the original motion, which is to ask the board to issue an RFP or the existing RFP, and to try to do it in the time frame for this enrollment period. I don't remember who seconded the motion. You have it, Mom?
Lizette.
Okay.
And I just want to say that in its theory, I totally agree. But I'm the boots on the ground.
I understand that.
So I'm not going to be able to vote for this because the heat's going to come down on me and and we're going to be getting the phone calls, and we're going to be getting,
It's going to be rough.
It's just not going to be a good experience. I think we're in a continual position that is not.
And I guess my concern too is that if we don't issue an RFP, how do these other agents and brokers and TPAs feel about Lafayette Parish not putting it out there?
Right.
I mean, what sort of message are we sending to other companies that we haven't notified everybody that they can do, they can bid on this? That's a worry. What about our future reputation?
May I ask a question? For those people who are going to be presenting tonight, do you want to recommend to the board that they do an RFP? And do you want to hear these people who have taken their time to come here and rank them and send that with the recommendation for an RFP? Or do you want to just hear the presentations tonight? What are your wishes about the presentations?
Madam President, point of order. Didn't you get a favorable vote to call the question with no more discussion?
Yes.
It's time for a vote.
Yeah. No, we voted to call.
You voted to call the question and it was favorable. I'm calling a point of order. You voted to call the question. That means vote, no more discussion. You even said it yourself.
You're correct. And Mr. Hidalgo, it takes a lot for me to say you're correct. Considering our history, it takes a lot for me to say that. All right, all those in favor?
Restate the motion, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The motion on the floor, as I appreciate it, is that this committee send to the board a request that they issue RFPs for this voluntary benefits administrator and broker of record, and that be done in time for this enrollment period that's going to be extended.
And future.
And future, and all future. I guess insurance companies. Did I restate your motion?
It's a recommendation.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 7? Please do it again. I'm sorry.
Raise your hand.
I'm still in shock that I told Jeremy he was right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Same vote. 9 to 3. Now, what is your pleasure about hearing the presenters?
Madam Chairman, I have one more motion to make because I kind of think I know what's going to happen at the board. In the event that the board rejects our recommendation, I would like this committee to recommend to the board, strongly recommend, that if a contract is issued, it be a 1-year contract and this be vetted out early spring for the final review.
Any discussion?
That's a good
All
idea.
those in favor? Opposed? Matt?
I mean, yet again, I mean, you know, we're really busy when you start pulling things and pushing things out. I mean, it's just a little.
That's next year, man.
Huh?
That's next year.
Yeah. But to do it twice.
Oh, well.
We have not
Should've told that
amended
to the board, man.
Point of order. We have not amended this agenda, so continuing on our agenda are the presentations from the third-party administrators. And we have a vote scheduled for that as well. So the first people up are Dupre, Carrier, Gotcha, Arthur Gallagher. They're not here. So Arthur Gallagher's not here, and Taylor and Sons pulled out. And by the way, these are the questions that Mona gave to the board.
I gave them.
You gave them?
Maybe somebody can give one on that.
In case, I'm sure the employee position has a very, very different set of questions you want to ask, but just in case you want to know what the board asked. Okay, next up is educational benefits, the company recommended by the board.
If you already made the recommendation, should we sit through all the presentations?
That's what I'm thinking.
This agenda was not amended.
Well, and considering they're here, if it does come back to us.
Give them a minute, they will be.
I agree. I just, I think out of courtesy, because I made the effort to come.
Yeah.
You want to go get educational benefits?
So we're allowing other vendors.
Educational benefits, employee resource? Yes, Dr. Agawam said it's a public meeting and everybody can sit in.
Anybody that chooses to.
Anybody who chooses to.
You can just give us a caution. I was going to visit tomorrow morning. It's
no, I wish you could get there.
So we're going to maybe move these two over here.
Yeah, could y'all move a little bit?
Great. Just come on the side and let them get there. I think that'd be the easiest.
I'll get it for you, Karen.
Thanks. And you can move the chairs if you want to stand or whatever.
Can you introduce yourself?
I think they're going to get something set up.
15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do my best to try to keep it exactly 15 or less. Nobody ever complains. Nobody complains when you finish early. I know it's been a long night.
Oh, I thought that's what you were doing.
Let the board meeting, they were given 6 minutes, but we're going to listen for 15.
Would you prefer something shorter? Would you prefer
Turn on
6
the air
minutes?
conditioner till like.
How did the board, let's go with the board decide.
There is a request that you give the same presentation you gave to the board within 6 minutes.
Okay, all right.
So you will
So
not get
we
to
probably
finish
don't
all
need that presentation. All right, so let me kind of get my head. I have 15 minutes, okay? I'll work this in a little bit. All right, Shane, I'll tell you what, let's do. Go ahead if you would. Just pull it. Can you pull up anything on there? And if you can't, don't worry about it. Okay. You wanna come and just start? Yeah. You're a lot smoother than I am.
First of all, thank you guys for allowing us to come tonight. I know that it's a lot, and the insurance guys aren't always the ones that you want to hear from, you know, so we really do appreciate you guys having us. My name is Shane Pennington with Educational Benefits. This is John Starling, one of our partner principal owners. We have been doing benefits now for over 30 years, and we've totally focused on the public K through 12 market. We currently cover 160 plus public school districts that we service. We do have a local presence. We have 3 of our folks here, Kelly Cox, Michelle, and Skip Kovac. They are our local presence. We actually heard Skip's name come up earlier when First Financial was addressing the group. At this point, I really want to give Skip an opportunity to speak. because Skip is going to be the face of EBI to Lafayette Parish School Board if you select us. So I think it's important that you hear from the guy that you'll see most.
Thank you, Shane. Good afternoon, folks. First of all, I kind of let everybody know that I'm a local resident. I live in the Karen Crow Sunset area. And for the last 33 years since I graduated from USL back in the 80s, I've been an employee benefits specialist, focusing all of my career working with public school boards in Louisiana. That's what I was trained to do. I came from an insurance family. My dad had his own agency in the Opelousas area, and I've got to actually work with many of you, some of you sitting on this committee here today. And the technology's there, the benefits are there. Any company can get access to benefits and to technology, but what I've learned over 33 years, I started learning it in 1988 when I got my first assignment, which was in Lafayette Parish School System. And was working here and actually was assisting working on the voluntary disability enrollment at the time. And time went on, and in 1998, I was awarded the local agent's position to take care of your voluntary dental program. And that started in the late 90s, and then some years after that was also able to take care of the voluntary vision program for your school system. I've been in every one of your public schools. I'm married to a retired school teacher. And I really hate to see all of the discontent and the back and forth, because where I came from, we were always told, just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And in this world, these employees, they work for every hard-earned dollar that they have. And they depend on someone to tell them or advise them where should they go, what should they do. They need a body, a face to talk to. And that's what we've tried to deliver to your people. And when I last worked in Lafayette Parish School System at the end of 2015, there was none of this type of activity. Things ran fairly well. We weren't perfect. But if I had to go meet with a food service worker or a principal or whoever it might have been, that's what I would do. Because I would hope they'd do the same for me one day if I was in their shoes. So that's kind of where I come from. That's what I stand for. I apologize for taking up too much time, because the guys behind me really worked hard to put a good presentation together for you guys. 6 minutes is not going to be enough time for them to do that. So I apologize. Just wanted to let you know who I was, where I've come from, and I've worked in your district for probably 20 years or better, off and on, servicing your employees. Last thing I'd like to do is to thank you for the opportunity to come before you, and would hopefully you would considering our firm. Thank you very much.
And I don't know how much time, but very, very little, I'm sure. Just to reiterate, so I am from Arkansas. That is true. I own the company. I'm here because I own the company, and I'm proud for what we do. We have the largest market share in Arkansas, and we've got the majority of the school districts there. And we got it from bringing savings and technology and efficiency. We work with any vendor, we work with any payroll system. We do payroll in-house. We do FSA, we do COBRA, we do Flex, we do all of these things in-house. And the reason that we do it is because every time we outsourced it, somebody messed it up. And it came back on us. I own the company. I'm tired of it coming back on me because somebody else messed it up, so we brought it in-house. Kelly Cox and I are partners. We're partners. He lives here. He's lived here all his life. His mother was an assistant principal or superintendent, and he's lived here for 52 years. Michelle's worked for him for 22 years. Here in Lafayette in the same office. So to say that we don't have a local presence, we don't have a building that we put air conditioning in. We actually have live people that work here and live here. And that's what they do, and their kids go to school here and they grow up here. So the relevance of it is, we've not only got these two employees, we've got Skip, and we've got Skip's vast knowledge of not only your school district, but all of the different people that have worked in your school district before. Because we have our own enrollers, but we also have other enrollers that we want to bring on that Skip knows do a good job because we trust what he says. That's why it's so important to have him on our team. So the technology part of it, we do it in-house. We have 15 employees. All they do is build out these benefit admin systems that we work with Mona. We are a self-funded TPA. We do self-funded health insurance in-house. So all of these administrative things we do in-house ourselves, and we do it at the best cost that we possibly can. We work with every company out there. We don't work with American Fidelity because they're a direct provider. We work with American Public Life, which is American Fidelity's sister company that works with brokers. Same products, pretty much. All that being said, products are products. We try to come and bring y'all guarantee-issued products. My dad had cancer at 42, died at 49. Guess what? I'm probably going to get cancer. I'm 50 years old. I have a cancer policy. I have the same cancer policy that you would probably want to put in this school district. And you know what? If you want it, you get it. My dad's a school district member here. It's guarantee issued. If you want it, he has cancer, it doesn't matter, he gets it. So there's a big difference when you go out to all these carriers and we say we have 150,000 insured lives, give us your best shot. And we put it on a spreadsheet and we let y'all pick who the carriers are. The last time you picked products, did you get to look at every single accident carrier there is out there? Most people don't, we do. We'll show you all of them. You want to see Aflac, Allstate, whoever, Central American, all of them, it doesn't matter to us. We're going to show you that and we're going to build it on the Ben admin system. I know I've used my 6 minutes. Thank you very much.
How many school systems do you represent in Louisiana?
In Louisiana, we represent none. But right now we have, I think, somewhere between 6 and 10 school districts in Oklahoma that we've gotten in the last probably 6 months to a year. We've got 1 school district in Mississippi, which is Picayune School District, and we've got 150 to 60-ish in Arkansas. So, I mean, our intent is to be in Louisiana and Texas, and we're just surrounding the states. That's exactly right. We want to keep it local enough to where we can control it, but at the same time expand it to areas that we have an office, Lafayette, Office Jackson, Hattiesburg. So, I mean, it makes sense for us to be in this footprint.
Any more questions? Matt?
As this question to every vendor, how do you pay your salespeople?
So we pay our sales...
that are sitting in the schools talking.
Okay, so perfect example. What we know is how everybody, or how we think everybody else does it. So I'm not going to make any bold statements, but our employees are W-2. They're salaried employees. We use Runzheimer to pay for their cars. So they get a car allowance that pays for their cars because they're enrolling pretty much from August 15th until December 15th, January 15th, until April 15th. They get the summer off, but they're W-2. So they get paid salary in the summer. And if they want to work extra, rock and roll. If you want to spend the rest of the time with your wife who's a school teacher or your husband that's a school, go ahead. But they're W-2, they don't receive commissions. So they're not going in there selling a bunch of product.
Any other questions? I have a couple. Are you a licensed TPA in the state of Louisiana?
Yes, ma'am.
And a licensed broker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are the benefits you're going to offer the exact same? Will the employees have the exact same benefits at the same price under your company as they currently have?
So, okay, couple of things on that. Allstate. So Allstate, the policy you've got an old Allstate policy, which is actually good, real good, and there's a newer Allstate policy that pays a little bit differently on the cancer policy. We sell those same policies. Those are street policies. The American Fidelity, we can't sell American Fidelity because that's a direct company. We sell American Public Life if that's what you want to buy. So, I guess my question is we get paid the same way everybody else gets paid. We take standard commissions that help facilitate the cost of the flex and everything that we do in the enrollment. So does that answer your question?
No, I'm just concerned that the employees, when they enroll,
okay,
they don't know about First Financial. They don't care. They care about what they signed up for, the policy they have, and how much it's going to cost.
Got it.
So I want to know that our employees, if they enroll with you, are going to get a mirror copy of the benefits they currently have at the same price they currently pay. That's my question.
Okay, so every company has a little bit of difference to their policies. Anybody that tells you that every single CI policy is the same is not telling the truth. What you try to do is get them as close as you possibly can, clearly explain what the differences is, pros, cons, and then the price. But I will say this, we've never lost on price. So the question is can we build the policy better than what you've got?
Well, and it doesn't still good to lower the price if the benefits aren't what they expect.
Like I said, if we know we're going to beat you on price, then the question is can we improve your actual product value? My thing is, I'm telling you that I think we can match the price and we can have better benefits.
And you're willing to put that in writing?
Okay, here's the thing. Is it going to rain tonight at 12 o'clock? I don't really know. I can't guarantee everything, but here's the thing. We put it in writing. We put the products in writing. You'll see all of them. And the difference is you get to pick between all the products. We're not.
And you're willing to respond to an RFP?
We respond to RFPs all the time. I mean, we do. I mean,
and one more question. At the meeting the other night, there was something that disturbed me. You were asked the question if you all would do enrollment for health care.
Okay.
And this committee has a history with health care, and we're finally where we want to be. Why in the world are we talking about you're enrolling for health care?
Okay, so let me back up a little bit on that. we do what the schools ask us to do. It does not do us any good to enroll the health. We don't make any money enrolling the health or have any intent to do that, or there's nothing that benefits us to do it. But if it is a service to the school and the school wants us to enroll somebody in health on the same platform, I think the idea was, can you put health insurance on the same enrollment platform that we use to enroll
As a
all the other?
clarification, they would be enrolling into our healthcare, not theirs.
Yeah, we aren't touching y'all's
Today,
health
I
care.
understand that. I just don't want 2 years from now for us to say, oh, we're already enrolled with educational benefits, so we're going to switch.
No, ma'am, that's Lynn Fontaine, we're friends. I have no intent of taking.
I know it makes
this.
your life easier.
Yeah, no, this was simply us taking what Lynn is putting in your school district, and we're just saying, would you like the employee only or the family coverage? I want family. Got it. So that way that we're collecting the information so that Mona and Matt have a way to upload it to payroll and to reconcile health insurance too. That's what we were saying.
And you will do one-on-one enrollment because some of our employees are not computer literate.
That is why we have so many salary enrollers. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, we do most of our school districts. And I'm saying most, and we have a lot of our school districts are one-on-one every single time. We have several schools though that are starting to move into, if you have the same thing you've had for 20 years, keep it like it is. You can't evergreen the flex, but you can say, look, man, don't try to sell me anything. I got what I want, and it doesn't take up their time. But we do that. We allow them to, if they want to self-enroll, they can. If they want to do it, and they want to enroll over the phone while we are sitting with them on a computer, we can do that too. It's whatever y'all want.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all very much, and we appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Great. This group was not informed at the meeting. There was a miscommunication. They did not know about the board employee insurance. They had been corresponding with Mona. It's not that they're just coming on board late. They just were not told about the meeting last Thursday. So the board did not hear this group last week. Thank you very much.
We're fresh.
For your patience.
Yeah, we're fresh.
First, my name is Drake Poche. I'm an Allstate agent here in Lafayette. I own the agency on Colley Saloon right between Blue Louis XIV and River Ranch. So if you know the Spanish tile roof on the right side, you head toward Ambassador Caffrey. That's my agency. I want to just thank y'all for taking the time out of your day. I know that y'all are volunteers. I'm a community volunteer myself. I know that you have to take time away from your family to be here to represent your compatriots in the school system, and so I know that it takes a lot of effort, and the position that you're in is obviously a challenging one. I've heard these presentations. These are fine companies, and I think that what I want to say is that we've been told before that in the past y'all have looking for a local provider who could provide the same kind of technology and services that some of these out-of-town companies provide, and that it wasn't available. And I'm here to say that I believe that it is. As an Allstate agent, Allstate allows us to partner with organizations to be able to provide worksite benefits, ancillary products, because they want us to be able to not have to ever say no to our customers. And so I have a team of experts from ERG, Employee Resources Group, who work through my agency in order to provide these kinds of services and benefits. Our agency was recognized twice over the past couple of years as a finalist for Best Agency in Lafayette or in Acadiana by the Times of Acadiana, and I myself was recognized as a top 20 under 40 recipient by the Daily Advertiser because of my civic efforts and my business efforts to try to be the best agent that I can be for my customers and the best community volunteer that I can be. I'm going to bring up Dwayne Wilson with ERG. He's going to talk about the specifics of not only what their capabilities are and be able to answer any specific questions. Sure.
Thank y'all again for coming out this evening. And again, my name is Dwayne Wilson with ERG. We are a... Sorry. Y'all been in a classroom, so I think y'all taken one of these. Pass them around a few times. We just won't make y'all fill anything out. So with ERG, we specialize in voluntary benefits. It's what we do. We do that, and we do enrollment. I know previously they alluded to interfacing with carriers and that sort of thing. That is more my specialty. That's really not as hugely a complex item as you might think. Long and short of it is, it can be as simple as uploading a CSV file, Excel spreadsheet, or it can be as complicated as an integrated feed. When it comes down to benefits, benefits are benefits. What really matters is how do you communicate those benefits to your employees? Do they understand what they're getting? Because if an employee is not understanding what they have, they're not going to be happy. It's just like a student and you're giving them a test. If they don't understand, they're not going to do well, so the student's not happy, the parents aren't happy. And the end result is the institute looks bad. So with that being said, the communication piece of what we do is handled by these ladies. They handle the Lafayette branch of ERG, and I'm going to let them speak to you guys in a little more detail about how we do things.
Thank you, Dwayne. Good evening. I'm Tammy Gasport, and this is Lisa Newsom. Between the two of us, we have over 30 years of experience working in the employee enrollment arena. One of the most important things, and listening to all of you guys this evening, what I get from you is that you care immensely about your employees and you want what's best for them. And that's what I felt most this evening from the conversations. And I want you to know that we are local. We have been local, grown and raised right here. I'm from New Iberia originally. Lisa is from Baton Rouge. But however, we work in this element of the insurance industry and have for several years. I believe that the quality of the people that you bring to the table to meet with your employees that work so hard to educate our kids today is vital. And I appreciate the sincerity of your intent to bring the right people in the right place here at Lafayette Parish School Systems. I believe that the most important thing about what I do is educate people properly and help them understand the products we offer so that they can make really good decisions for themselves and their families. We're not there just to sell a product to people. We're truly there to help them understand how they work, what they do, and you make a decision as to whether or not that works for you. That's how we handle ourselves. Having experience in the educational arena, we work with a private sector school here in Lafayette Parish and have been for several years.
One thing that I would like to point out, we've talked a lot about the systems and we've talked about the administrative side and the payroll side and all that. One of the things that I think we bring to the table is the service side. What happens when one of your teachers has a claim? Who do they call? Well, that's where we come into the picture, okay? Because you do have a local person that they can call, that we can actually sit down with them, we can answer the questions about a claim, or we can sit down with them and help them file a claim. Because ultimately, that's why they bought the product to begin with, right? So I think that's one of the things that we bring to the table. Like Tammy said, I've worked in a school system when I lived in Lake Charles. I worked in the Calcasieu Parish system as far as that enrollment there. I have an enrollment here. I've been in Lafayette for 6 years and am very, very pleased to have the opportunity to talk to y'all tonight because voluntary benefits are very important. The people want them because they're willing to put their own money out there, right, to get that. But the service side is also important, and we appreciate the opportunity to tell you that we're those people.
And we let them know, this is my cell phone number. You need something, you call me. And you might say, you do that with 4,000 people? Absolutely. Why? Because we believe in what we do, and we want more than anything to help those individuals that we've spoken to and brought to an understanding of why there's a need for these kind of products.
Obviously, Tammy and I can't do that, just the two of us, so we actually have a team of people that we work with, and ERG has a huge back office to help with that. So it's not just the two of us.
Right. We definitely are employees of ERG, and we are definitely focused on the individuals, not the full concept of how much money is being made here. So I respect that. However, money is important for everyone, I believe. But honestly, yes, ma'am.
I'm just saying your time.
Okay, we're good.
Wait, we may have questions.
Do you represent any school system in the state of Louisiana?
Yes, we do.
Right now, I am the representative for the diocese in Lafayette. So I personally, Tammy helps an awful lot with that. So that's
Over 2,000 employees in the Lafayette arena.
We also handle
Butch?
many municipalities as well.
Okay.
We handle many municipalities in and around Louisiana. Quite a few in this area, actually.
Okay, and you have a timeline in the back here where by October the 5th, the effective date would be November 1st, and of course, November 5th.
That's to build out the.
That's to build out.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
That's sorry.
Sorry. Okay, that's fine.
Any other questions?
Yes, would you have a problem doing an RFP?
No, ma'am. I think your timeline's going to be tight, not from the delivery standpoint. My background's accounting. I've actually got a degree in accounting. That's what I did. I would not want that man's job. It can be done, yes, without knowing the particulars of what the import part looks like for your system and how to transmit that data. I'd be shooting in the dark to give you an exact answer.
Are you a licensed TPA and broker in the state of Louisiana?
We are a licensed broker in the state of Louisiana.
But you are not a licensed TPA?
I don't understand the need for a TPA. I don't have enough background on you guys to understand why you would need a TPA.
Trish?
I understand from a self-insured standpoint, for your major med, you need a TPA, but for your ancillary worksite products,
Cobra?
Cobra, you're not required to be a TPA.
Not for ancillary.
I'm going to defer to Mona, who I think just stepped out.
I'm sorry, I can't
First
hear.
Financial is a TPA because they collect premium with their combined billing statement and they remit it on your behalf.
That's correct.
So yeah.
And honestly, I don't normally recommend that procedure, just primarily because it creates problems if you ever have a billing discrepancy. It's a little harder to get to where that billing discrepancy is if you're doing combined billing.
So y'all wouldn't, we would have to pay all these bills separately?
We could facilitate it. We would just have to.
So you don't normally do that?
It's not normal. We don't normally suggest it.
How are your enrollers paid, or is there any commission basis whatsoever in the enrollers that are sitting down with the employees?
No, they're paid per diem or by the day.
So you're in the Diocese of Lafayette, or are you in any other school districts in the state?
None of the other school districts in the state. We handle several large municipalities, but the only school district is the one that's listed.
Are you familiar with the benefits our employees have now?
Yes.
The products that they get in? And you can offer those same products or mirrored products at the same price?
That is,
Kind of like the other gentleman mentioned.
yeah. We can do pretty much anything you want us to do, but to mirror exactly what they have at the same price, that you don't know until you're able to acquire the group to request those prices.
Right.
But that is part of the comparison that would
That's
be
why
on the
our-
board to choose. Yes, ma'am.
That's why an RFP would be helpful.
Right.
Yes, yes.
And it's kind of impossible to do without one. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Freeman Insurance and Risk Management Group.
Good evening. How doing? How much time, what's the time allowed?
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
And I apologize for that, but that's
That's what we got
where
last
we
week.
are.
Well, I'll go really fast. Anyway, I'm Blaze Freeman. The name of our agency is Firm Group. There's our corporate office address, 140 Rue Beauregard, Lafayette, Louisiana. We're from here. A comment was made that what if a local firm wanted to get in the process after you guys made a decision to leave First Financial? I guess the ones who were paying attention found out. I saw it in the paper. And I said, hey, that's exactly what I do. How do I get involved? How do I come talk to the Lafayette Parish School Board? So I'll be honest with you, and I didn't know about the team that just spoke, but when we met last week with the insurance board, there were 4 competitors. They were all from out of town or out of state. 2 of them didn't show up tonight, so in my opinion, there was educational benefits that went first, based out of Little Rock, and then Firm Group Agency, which is my team here in Lafayette, Louisiana. So we can go to the next slide there. To serve you guys right, I do think you need a local team. I think part of the heartburn that's going on is you got a company, First Financial, based out of Houston, you know, really scrambling to try to to try to provide service remotely from a distance. I believe if you combine the best of both worlds with a company that is capable from a service standpoint as well as a technology standpoint, Lafayette Parish School System will win. Let's go to the next slide. We've got 120 years of total experience in my office. We're on the corner of Rue Beauregard and Colley Saloon. I clocked it on the way over here. It's 1.8 miles. So how fast could Firm Group be here? Minutes. If I catch the light on the thruway in Colley Saloon, maybe a minute, or if the train's not passing. Our average tenure is 12 years, and I like my team to stand up. These are all the people that will be involved and enrolling Lafayette Parish School Board if Firm Group wins the case. So we're all here, we're ready. There's a list of the teams. There's our tenure. A little bit about my background. I've been doing this 20 years. Started with a company called Aflac. That was 1998. Most of you guys know of Aflac. Was an agent, top agent for the first 4 years, moved into management. I opened up the first Lafayette regional office for Aflac. Took that office to #1 in the company and was asked to run the west side of Louisiana for Aflac. So I was a state manager, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Alexandria, Shreveport, Monroe. Did that for 11 years. Great success. That was one of the fastest growing markets in Aflac. And I had a great run. Let's go to the next slide. 2 years ago, retired from Aflac and opened up a local agency. You didn't see me when you shopped this out last time because I was finishing a career there, and in 2016 opened an agency here. I put together the best team we can find. I've got fantastic enrollers. We've got we definitely put customer service first, because at the end of the day, we can talk about computers and technology and all these fancy things and how they integrate. But if you don't put the customer first and the experience between the agent, the enrollers, and your employees, we lose. You lose because you get a bad experience from the employees, and we lose because somebody else will come in and promise the moon there. So local customer service. We'll have a Firm Group team member, a local Firm Group team member here for every open enrollment, designated customer service rep. We'll collaborate with HR. All our enrollers are non-commissioned, and our enrollers will be paid with employees. How I'm doing on time?
1 minute, 45 seconds.
Oh, wow. I'm going to defer to technology. If you would meet my partner, Mr. Adam Miley.
Hey guys, nice to be here. I'm with AGM. AGM is a full-service benefits communication, enrollment, and administration technology firm. So, I've kind of learned a little bit about your company right now. You have a voluntary benefits firm that handles the voluntary benefits. You have a medical broker. What we really like to do, and that's kind of how the industry's been for the last 20, 30 years, what we'd like to do is put a holistic approach for you guys, include your medical benefits on the enrollment software with the voluntary benefits. When we meet with your employees, it's a one-stop shop for your employees. Most enrollment vendors like your current don't have great programmers. They can't integrate with all your vendors. We're a preferred vendor of Blue Cross Louisiana. It's a very short list. There's not many on there. We've done so many with them now. We can pass scenario testing in a couple weeks, which allows for that integration in a timely manner. We work with Alio, with other school boards, integrating with your payroll. We can import all of that after open enrollment to make your job. We'll be best friends by the end of it. And then giving employees different options to enroll. Right now it sounds like you're at the mercy of when those enrollers are on site. We have solutions. We have a call center. Calls are recorded. Employees can call in at their convenience to enroll by phone. We have text messaging systems where we can run a campaign at the prior start of open enrollment, alert employees of open enrollment, send them a link to their benefit guide, send them a link to schedule an appointment when they want to speak to a counselor. They can't attend open enrollment meetings. They can enroll online. I don't think First Financial is offering you guys that now. Our system, they can enroll online at home with their spouse. And last but not least, the administrative office here will have full rights and access to the system. All spouse independence information, all your ACA waivers, your forms and documents, all in one system housed at no cost to you guys. So we like to kind of take it how it's segregated right now, make it a holistic approach. When we meet with that employee, they can see every benefit that they have in one spot with one counselor, and that one system can integrate with all of your vendors, so administratively, it takes a lot of work off the team's plate here. So a lot more, but I don't think we have enough time, so thank you all very much. But that's a quick snapshot of what we can do for y'all.
Questions?
Sure.
What's your last name, Adam?
My last name is Miley. I'm in Baton Rouge. We have IT office in Dallas. Our headquarters office is in Baton Rouge. And we have a satellite sales office in New Orleans. We work with clients around the country with that. So.
I just want to say I got Adam from a technology because they're exactly what you need for technology. And I'm partnering with a TPA called Task to handle your flexible spending account, dependent take care, and COBRA. So we are not a TPA, but we're partnering, and I'm picking up the tab if we win the bill, so it costs nothing for the Lafayette School Board. I'm just the guy pulling it all together. I just happen to be local, qualified, and I got a team locally here that live within Lafayette Coppersville. We're next door.
Do you have any problem responding to an RFP?
I have no problem with anything you would request. I'd be happy to provide.
Do you represent any school systems in the state?
I don't actually. When I was working for Aflac from a management side, I was involved in many. Aflac was in many school boards. I worked closely setting up enrollments, coordinating benefits. So I've got a tremendous amount of experience with the school systems from a carrier perspective. I was on the management and leadership side. So currently today, you're the only one I've come to. And it might be the only one I ever go to, I'm not sure. but I live here.
We can relate.
And I didn't mean that way. What I mean is, I live here. I want to take care of my people. You heard the saying, shop Lafayette, right? That doesn't mean just groceries and restaurants. That means the people you hire to do things. That means the people you hire for service. We're here, and we're ready to service you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Matt?
Same question. Enrollers, how do you pay your enrollers or the employees? Are there any kind of commissions, bonuses, back-ends?
Back to the slide.
It was on
Whatever
the
you want to
slide.
call
It
it.
said there's on the slide.
Non-commission, I'm going to pay my team a flat fee to handle enrollment start to finish. Simple. And all of this really isn't as complicated as it may seem. But what you're really worried about is how do we police for my employees to be pressured, which is why the question comes up, or how they compensate it. Moral compass guides that as well, by making sure your employees get what they need and nothing more. Yes,
I have a question because I don't understand technology and Matt's job to any degree. Matt's concerned about the time frame if we went out on an RFP in the next 2 or 3 weeks. How long would it take for you to, I don't know the proper word is, gather the data you need and interface with Mona's information, Matt's information? How long would that process take you?
That's a good question. So his piece with the enrollment team, scheduling, as soon as they can schedule that, that's the easy part. Us building your plans and rates, that's the easy part. The hard part, and I'll be honest, is right now First Financial holds all your information, and they're not going to talk to me. So I've got to go communicate with all the insurance companies, request all of your data, who's enrolled, what spouse and dependents are enrolled, beneficiaries. That's going to take a couple weeks in itself. We've got to start having payroll conversations with. We already have the format with Alio because we've worked it with before other school boards that I work with. So that should maybe be as difficult. But then if we're changing insurance companies, we're going to have to start talking to the insurance companies. And if those integrations aren't set up in time, employees don't get their medical cards on time, they don't get their dental cards and vision cards sent out. So it's a tight turnaround. I can tell you, this is a group everybody wants. So the team that wins it, they're going to turn it around. But it's really, you want to make sure you pick the right team that knows what they're doing, that has the experience, that can handle large groups, we've worked with every major insurance company in the industry when it comes to an integration. Almost every payroll company. So you need somebody that has the program. My CTO out of Dallas worked for the software company under Loud, helped them build it for 12 years, and I recruited her away.
So is it feasible to issue an RFP in the next 3 weeks? And this is all hypothetical.
When would you like to start open enrollment?
It's begun.
There's the ball.
October 15th.
No. Not at all. Not even close.
Well, if you're going to extend it till December, could you start it, do November to December?
But your current policies are expiring January 1 at renewal, right?
Yes.
Which means all of this has to happen way before
Correct.
January 1. So I would like to sit here and tell you yes, 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 but I'm not going to put myself in a position to not deliver as well.
You got 4,000 lives.
Yeah.
You know, it needs time to make sure that the enrollment piece can actually be done pretty quickly. This team's amazing. I've worked with them. You have data right now all over the place in multiple systems. We've got to get it with a new system, and our system's one of the top on the market, no cost to you guys, but we've got to get data into it. And it's
Well,
going
if
to take
y'all
some
can't,
prep.
do it, how can anybody else do it?
It's good. I could sit here and tell you, hey, no sweat. You know what I mean?
If we got the data in the next couple weeks, we got it. We can start enrollment end of October, the earliest.
But regardless of who you pick, then you can.
No.
I want to also say one thing. You had 4 people that started this process, and we're all players. You know what I mean? We can, an RFP, and if that's the route you want to go, I'll play along and do the best I can. But you had 4 quality players. You had Gallagher, you had Taylor and Sons, who competed when First Financial got it. You had EBI, which is the guys that went first, and now you got Firm Group, which is a local team. It's not like you're scrambling for talent or who can pull this off, but any of us need to get the ball moving so we can get to work, and we're ready to get to work.
And Mona, can you respond, when you were out of the room, there was discussion of why do we have a TPA? Someone said they didn't recommend it.
The Allstate guy said
Yeah.
you didn't need to have a TPA.
Why do we have to have a TPA?
It was to help us reconcile the invoices and put it all together. It's a help for us because we were doing everything ourselves.
We can definitely manage that from a consolidated billing standpoint.
We provide
thousands of pieces of paper every open enrollment. It became rather unwieldy.
Basically, they're making commission on this, and they can pay their accounting people to reconcile all of this. If we take it in-house, we're doing their accounting for them, which is how it used to be, and it was very inefficient.
Yeah.
And you'd have to pay each vendor, reconcile each payroll. They do it electronically. They have people that do this over there as a TPA.
And listen, if that's a service you want, even though I'm not a TPA, I can get a TPA to do it for you.
And that's something our software does, that y'all have
Absolutely.
access to. It produce the combined bill, it'd be reconciled when you get it because it'd be active coverage. And then you would just remit that one check payment to the TPA. We do that all the time. So we don't have to be a licensed TPA. There's vendors out there we can pay fees to provide that service. It's not something outside the realm of what I do all the time.
Any more questions?
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Have a good night.
Next item on the agenda, we've already set the next quarterly meeting for December the 4th. Is that right, Butch?
Yep.
What time is the meeting?
Pardon me?
We'll make it
It'll be 5:30 again. Is that too early for you?
Well, we can't do 5.
Well, no, she has a hard time
I
getting
really can't.
Yes.
So 5:30 and when?
December 4th.
December 4th.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And we also have a bus driver. It's easier for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else? Is there a motion to, well, before we adjourn, since I have to go explain to the board what it is this committee decided, what you want me to tell them is that this committee wants them to rescind what they have done and do an RFP process for them. That's correct? That's what 9 of you want me to, got it.
I think they were very honest in the
Pardon me?
that possibility of that happening. I think they were very honest in the possibility of that happening. If we try to do an RFP, I just don't think there's barely time to do it. Hiring a person October 3rd is going to be a stretch.
Yeah,
Unless you disagree more.
I need to also point out that we did not write an RFP in 2015. We asked for proposals. So I went back to check, and there's no RFP.
And the secondary thing you asked for is that if they don't approve of what we're asking, that they will give us a 1-year contract. So that we will
Not with an automatic renewal.
So we
with an
will
option
have
to
time to look more into it.
And in the event that they say no, are you going to move forward with the recommendation of
Say again?
In the event that they say no, are you going to move forward with the recommendation?
Not unless this committee would like to do that, and if we do, now is the time.
I'm sorry, Lizette, what's the question?
If she was gonna, if they say no, if she was gonna move forward with the recommendation of one of those companies.
What are the wishes of the committee?
Oh, like, is it for picking one of these tonight?
The board meets next week. They did not give us much
If they
time.
rescind both of the other things we're trying to ask them to do.
One of them wasn't there, Gallagher.
Gallagher and Taylor were not here.
Taylor went out there, so we're not.
You only heard.
Those who weren't at the meeting on Thursday have missed out on that part of it.
Yeah, because one thing I liked about Taylor, that I remember hearing, is that they would provide a full-time paid employee here in the office.
That's right.
They presented to us last time.
Yes. But what I'm just saying, they
But
didn't
are they still available weekends and nights?
I've got a lot of
and
confidence. I would
other
say there's
ones
3
said?
players in this, so, you see people, and, to me, you really want somebody that has been in school districts. It's a different world. I mean, it really is, and you want somebody that has some experience in school districts. You have 3 players. You have Taylor and Sons, First Financial, and Employee Benefits. That's the 3 major players.
So, Taylor and Sons sent an email during this meeting saying that they want to be removed from consideration.
Oh, I'm sure, because, I mean, they were not recommended. It's kind of hard to stay in there when there's a recommendation on the table. I mean, it's kind of after the fact.
There's some mixed feedback from them, from what I hear from other financial directors from Taylor and Sons historically. Just to be honest, I haven't heard good things about them.
And that's fine. That's why we need an RFP,
yeah,
so we can check references too.
It is what it is. We're in a kind of tight place right now.
No fault, exactly. No fault of our own. I mean, quite honestly, it's kind of amazing that a termination this close to an open enrollment.
Was considered.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I mean, there lies the problem, I think.
So do we need to look at?
So what are the wishes of the committee? I'm going to say that.
Let them deal with their own mess.
I agree.
If they don't go with what we recommend, let them deal with their own mess. Because we already looked at that company once before. We already thought that they weren't the best players. We had agreed as a committee that we wanted to move in the direction of St. Tammany Parish. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
And the group that they terminated is the group that represents St. Tammany Parish.
That's correct.
So,
along with the Katie and Vermillion.
I agree with you, Seth. I don't think.
But is that going to be bad for them?
I would like to hear more.
I mean, if we just let them do whatever they want, is that going to be the best thing?
I agree.
Any other comments, questions? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I want Jerry to yell at us.
You did a wonderful job.
With exception, Jeremy.
They're going to choose the guys.